This Friday night, we are following breaking news out of East Baltimore. We have lost another soul, the 7th person to die in a shooting in this city since yesterday morning.
WMAR 2 News' Eddie Kadam live on the scene of that shooting. Eddie, what can you tell us about this one tonight?
Kelly and Jamie, 7 people. This last victim, a man shot in the stomach. He died at the hospital. The other victim in this shooting, a woman who's recovering from her injuries. Earlier in the day, I was at another shooting scene in the Northwest District where a man was shot and he was killed there. I saw a woman walking down the street waiting to get her grandkids from daycare. They ran up to her. They embraced each other. She had just seen her grandkids walk by the police tape where a man had been shot in the head and was bleeding out on the sidewalk.
God, we pray that you keep them, God. Take them back home to their families, Lord God.
6 people who were breathing a day ago won't be home ever again. These officers being embraced in front of the Western District are working to figure out who spilled the blood. These faith leaders letting them know they have their back.
These police officers had to get out here and see bodies laying on the ground and shot up, and they got to go home with that. They got to go home with that. They got to deal with that.
I pray that you would bring the perpetrators to justice, God.
Young people call Pastor Charles Neal uncle. Today, he talked to one who's living through the war zone that has been the streets of Baltimore the last 2 days.
He said, there's a war going on in the city of Baltimore. I said, a war going on? What do you mean there's a war going on? He said, there's a war going on. He said there are rival gang members, drug epidemic. Is rising tremendously.
Give him the wisdom and the knowledge, God, to carry out his job.
Also praying for the new acting commissioner. I talked to Michael Harrison before his 9th and final meet and greet.
I've already given charge to our deputy commissioner. I've given charge to our command staff that I want the officers to be extremely proactive. I want them out of the cars engaging. I want to be able to develop relationships with community members so that we can understand and get an idea of who committed these crimes.
Saying strong consequences are needed after this outburst of violence.
Obviously, the people who committed these acts don't fear any consequences. Then we need to figure out what's happening in our community and society that's causing people to even make these decisions.
Just had another guy come up to me and say, stay safe, there's a war zone out here. The commissioner tonight said that after his 2 weeks of meet and greets, that he did feel embraced by the people of Baltimore. And although this is the last night he'll have a meet and greet, he intends on Monday to continue getting engaged with the community and talking to the people. Live in Baltimore, Eddie Kadam, WMAR 2 News.